Tonight, the nervous traveller takes flight. Nervous traveller takes flight. Gericke, Zondagh.
Mr. Toastmaster, gentlemen, ladies. The objective stated that I should choose a topic that appeals to me and write a speech with purpose. I soon realized that it's much more difficult to write a speech about anything as opposed to having a topic assigned. Upon researching topic ideas, one article said that I should write and speak about a topic that appeals to me like a moth to a flame. That was of no help. So I decided to speak about the topic that takes me to places I never knew existed. Mostly water closets, strangers' gardens, and secluded spots close to the boarding and landing zones. This story happened 1 year ago, almost to date. As a young eligible bachelor on the lookout for love, I found myself in a precarious position last year. I met a young eligible lady with whom I shared many interests. It was obvious in the early days that this might actually lead somewhere. I was infatuated with this girl. We could not get enough of each other's company. Little did I know, this relationship was doomed from the start. As she did not live in Pretoria, she recently started a community service in a small town of Scotland on the south coast. This posed a major hurdle. What to do? I've met this girl of my dreams and she lives 800 kilometers away. The only option was to go and visit. And as it so happens, her birthday is on the 11th of March. She invited me and a couple of her friends down to come and visit her for the weekend. Unfortunately, there are only two ways to get to Scotland, neither of which is teleportation, and both seemed uncomfortable, one more so than the other, and thus the nervous traveller took flight. 11 March 2021, 5 AM. Day of the flight. I woke up in cold sweat, my heart beating out of my chest. My flight is in 2 hours and I need to get ready. In the car by 5:30 and my sister's new boyfriend is taking me to the airport as a favour. This was the perfect opportunity for him to get to know me better. On my side of the car, however, anxiousness started to set in, and with every sentence I am using less and less words. He took this opportunity to start asking me more questions. Helpless in the situation and not wanting to be rude, I persevered and answered every question as thoroughly as possible without showing the signs of panic that had definitely started to set in. 6:10, we finally arrived at the airport and exchanged our goodbyes, when he must have seen the colour drain from my face because he asked, "Are you okay?" Insisting I'm okay and that this is only pre-flight jitters, I made my way to the entrance. As this was still in the middle of the pandemic, we had to do a COVID screening at the door. Now for a normal traveller, this is a minor inconvenience. For a nervous traveller, already looking for the closest water closet to purge my increasing nausea, this is a major hurdle. At this moment, my body temperature kept rising. I could feel sweat starting to form and my face resembled a black and white motion picture. With a suspect look from the guard behind the counter and a valid COVID test, I passed the first hurdle. Surprised that I made it through the COVID screening with sweat on my forehead at 6:15 in the morning, I made my way to the check-in with a quick pit stop on the way. When I reached the check-in counter, I met an acquaintance who was also travelling to Durban. We struck up a conversation and this helped to calm my nerves a bit. My nausea increasing every syllable. After what felt like hours of me not trying to embarrass myself in front of the entire terminal, we started the boarding process. We got onto the bus that drove us to the plane. I took a deep breath, put in my earphones, and courageously boarded the plane with an energetic flight attendant greeting me at the door. And thus, my 15 minutes in hell started. The anxiousness of seeing the girl of my dreams and traveling must have compounded, because we did not need to take flight for my nausea to reach cruising altitude. The little colour I had left in my face drained away while I broke out in a cold sweat and started to shiver. Lucky for me, the middle seat was open, leaving some breathing room for both me and my fellow passenger, who by now was convinced that I had COVID and was moving closer and closer to the window. At one stage I thought she was going to become part of the plane until we landed. Trying my utmost best not to reach for the little brown paper bag and controlling my breathing, I made it through what felt like a prolonged 50-minute flight to Durban. As soon as we landed, the doors opened and the overwhelming humidity hit me. Once again, I could not exit the plane fast enough, thus ending the first leg of my round trip. They say some experiences build competence, some experiences build character. This built neither, and I hope to never go through it again. But as this was a round trip, the prospect of that seemed unlikely. Mr. Toastmaster.